The shout out Mapes. Hey, I'm Mike. I talk about branding. In this video, the shout out Mapes. In this video, we're going to talk about how to test your brand, your product, or your service for free. Branding costs a lot. The research, the visual identity, website setup, the domains, in some cases, printing, videos. It's a big investment. So before you spend a bunch of money doing a brand or a rebrand, it's always nice to know that you can actually test before you do a big launch. So this is going to be a comprehensive guide on how you can test your brand. Let's get into it. Basically, you want to put your concept through a series of evaluations to make sure that you have some sort of product market fit. Will people actually swipe their credit card to buy your product or service? We just don't know. We just don't know. Until we test it, you're going to want to collect as much data as you can and ask as many questions as you can, because this testing phase could be critical to the success of your product's launch. I personally wasted 3 years of my life developing a product before trying to sell it. And when we tried to sell it, nobody wanted to buy it. It sucked. It crushed me. It crushed everyone around me. It was terrible, depressing, and sad. Don't make the same mistake I did. And you're going to want to stick around because I'm going to give you 10 zero-cost ways to test your brand. Maybe just 9. Before you start, you're going to want to understand your audience. Who is your audience? What are their demographics? What are their psychographics? What is it like to be them on a day-to-day basis? What are their problems? And what solutions do you have for their problems? How do you speak to these people? Where do they hang out? Blah, 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 blah. Defining your customers is a big deal, and you're going to want to have that figured out before you move to the next step, which is competitor analysis. Who else out there is doing the same thing that you're doing? How are they doing it, and who are they doing it for? How can you take some of their market share? How can you do what they're doing better? Can you do what they're doing better? Maybe you should stop now. Maybe you shouldn't make your product or service at all because someone's already doing it much better than you ever could. Sad, but a real realization that a lot have. You're going to want to know what your minimal viable product is. Your MVP. It's a version of your product or service that can attract early adopters and help you cement in what your core services are. It'll give you real world testing and real world feedback, which are the pillars of a successful product or service launch. Now, what if building an MVP is just too much to ask? Mike, I don't want to do all that. That's okay. You don't have to. Here's a big list of zero cost ways that you can test your brand right now. Did I mention zero cost? Here's 9 zero cost effective ways to challenge your brand. What? If you're struggling to get into a product market fit, you definitely don't want to spend too much money trying to figure out what to do. Number 1, obviously social media. You're going to want to craft a mock product visually and advertise it through social media and content. What does that mean? Make a video, make images of your fake product, what it's called, the brand, do it all. You can even set up a fake sales page and see how many people make it to the checkout process. It's okay if they can't spend any money. The product isn't real. You're just testing the market. And by the way, those people that went to the checkout process, you can just collect their emails, and when the product is real, follow up with them, see if they'll buy then. Isn't it nice to know that a lot of the stupid stuff you see for sale in your social media thread isn't probably real at all and they're just testing? That makes me feel a little bit better about the world. Number 2, online forums and communities. There's places like Facebook groups, Reddit, and still the archaic forum structure. And these people are on there and they're willing to give you information. They're willing to interface with you and they're willing to give you their feedback because, my God, they're just sitting around all day typing away anyway. Get their feedback. Is it real? Is it useful? It's hard to tell, but it's something. Number 3, there's a lot of free tools that you can get surveys with. Google Forms, for example, is completely free and it will organize all of your responses for you. Get feedback from who you know. Send out that feedback email and just use Google Forms, you silly goose. Wow. You can do the same thing with your email. How many emails have you collected? How many people do you know that you can email? If you've never collected an email before and you're just a human being, I'm sure that you can go into your Gmail account and see all the people that you know and that you've emailed. Compile that list. Friends, family, associates, people that you've worked with, people that you bought stuff from. Who cares? Email them all. Ask them what they think. You never know. You could have your little testing group right in front of you without even thinking about it. Landing pages are so easy to make today. There are several different free ones that you can use. I actually have a whole business called Sell Engage where I have an entire landing page builder, but we don't even need to talk about that. Landing pages are super easy to put up and they're very easy to test a product with. Go to some of the products that you know and love, see what their landing pages look like, replicate them, change them to your product, and go test it. See if anybody will buy the product. Remember, if they do buy a product with actual money that doesn't exist, you can, number one, give them their money back, and number two, send them the product when it's complete. Just make sure that all of these things are very clear to the customer before buying. Make sure that they don't think they're going to have some sort of instant download or something of something that doesn't exist, because then you're going to just piss them off. You don't want to piss them off. You just want to test, not piss off, but just test. Okay. Now, what if you're saying, I don't have anybody that I know that will test my product or service or offering? Well, guess who does? Other people. Other people who have audiences already. You can contact them with your pitch deck, tell them the whole process that you want to try, and get them to send it to their followers. Get them to send it to their email list. Bring them in on the action so they make some money on the deal, and they'll be more than happy to work with you. It's also a lot easier to find your target demographic this way because you can just simply see who is this video creator already talking to. Of course, I say video because all I do is video. Just do video, guys. Don't do anything else. Articles are boring. Fake pitch decks. This kind of goes in with all of this together, right? You're gonna need a pitch deck for basically most of the things that I talked about. But think about it. You can pitch things to people that aren't real. I was lucky enough to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with Chris Do one time at a conference. I love him. And he told me a story about someone that he knows that does exactly what we're talking about and makes millions of dollars. Basically, this mysterious person contacts a celebrity or the celebrity's manager. Hey, celebrity, I have this big brand that wants to work with you. They're in this market. They do these kinds of sales and these kinds of products. I'm actually not allowed to reveal who it is, but would your celebrity be interested in working with something like that? Just let me know. Yes, no. He gets yeses in return. So then what does he do? He goes to several brands and says, hey, several big brands, I represent this celebrity. They want to work with these type of brands and products. Are any of you interested? They say yes. He hooks them up together and puts himself in the deal, getting a cut of it as an agent. He literally did nothing but perfect the art of sales and marketing and knowing how to speak to your customer, crafting an email with the perfect way to say things to keep people reading, to keep people interested, to make them feel like he knows what he's doing and he's not just some bullshitter. It's an art and it can be done because it is done. Just remember, you don't always have to build the whole thing before you know it's a complete failure. And finally, to kind of wrap all of this up, just remember your feedback loops are everything here, guys. Every little thing that I covered here, you need to keep in mind feedback. If you don't keep your feedback in mind, you're just going to keep blindly moving forward with something that you have no idea if it's going to work or not. The feedback is what the test is all about. You need to focus on it and analyze it without an ego. It's okay if you find out that your product or service isn't going to work. Just remember, most of them don't. Feel lucky to figure it out before you wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to develop something. Or even worse, getting an investor to pay you and then you wasting their hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to sell a product or service. And after you've done this a few times, you should basically know what you're doing. You should have the formula to see when things are going to work or not work and kind of have a bit of a sixth sense. No. If you can apply these strategies diligently, then I'm pretty sure you yourself can navigate the complicated process of brand testing. Wow. If you need help with your brand, shoot me a DM. And if you didn't catch my last video about Walmart implementing a subscription to use the self-checkout system, go ahead and go watch that wacky video. Okay. Can't reach the stop button. Okay. Where's the button to stop it? Oh. The script, where did you go? There you are. Because here's 10, maybe 9, cost effective. What? Here's 10, maybe 9, 0 cost. Here's 9 cost effective. Here's 9 0 cost effective ways to challenge your brand. What? Here's 9 neat ways. No. Oh my God.